Hi everyone, this is Dr. Dana Rockey. The concept of sleep apnea has come more and more to the forefront. Now, a big deal is screening, and we use a screener form like this that helps us determine where the patient is, whether they might be have risk factors such that they need to be tested for sleep apnea and possibly treated in the end. Here is a specific case study that came across my desk that I think helps illustrate about four main issues. Mid-60s male, 220 pounds, 6'2", so a basal metabolic index less than 30, which is good. But the main point that pops out here is that, and we're getting this a lot, we're finding that this patient about 10 years ago, medical doctor thought that there was reason to believe that this patient might have sleep apnea, and was then tested for that, and a board-certified sleep physician scored him and made the diagnosis that he did in fact have sleep apnea, and he was prescribed a CPAP machine for that. So we have prescribed CPAP, diagnosed sleep apnea, prescribed CPAP, did at the time, but now the important point is not using it and had difficulty using it when he was using it. We go down further down the screener. A pretty common thing is something referred to as the Epworth Sleepiness Scale. So he tests positive in that arena for a series of multiple questions in the scoring here, such that he is experiencing, the technical term is daytime drowsiness in a number of different circumstances. That's a key indicator generally, and whether you are not sleeping well at night due to an apnea condition. That's why we screen for it here. Then we get into more issues of snoring, gasping and choking. We actually have bed partners finding some patients struggling to breathe so much that they gasp and choke to try and get air in. And then the next three questions relate to what we refer to as comorbidities. In other words, coexisting medical conditions that may be related to the sleep apnea. Blood pressure, diabetes, and irregular heart rhythm, atrial fibrillation in this case. And he's checked yes, yes, yes down the way. So here with a big red check, as you can see, we've designated this a positive screener. So the goal is to have him fill it out, we review it aside from the patient, then we go back after we've done that and we start asking the questions and finding out exactly what's on his mind and maybe the circumstances to what was going on. In this case, he used to weigh in excess of 265 pounds. At that point that he was given the CPAP machine, somehow he lost 40 to 50 pounds. Then subjectively he said he felt better. In other words, he didn't get any more testing. Sleep apnea-wise, he didn't get any more testing regarding his health issues, but subjectively he said he felt better, and he made the decision that he didn't think he needed to use it anymore. And my guess is because it was kind of difficult to use and he was kind of struggling, it was not going well working with it here, as he said, that he decided that he felt better enough that he could send the machine on its way, and he did so. But now he has high blood pressure, diabetes, and atrial fibrillation, which in my mind are the three biggest health issues associated with sleep apnea. So we've got to review quickly. We've got someone that was diagnosed having severe sleep apnea, so much so that he needed a CPAP machine. He wore it. He was unsuccessful in the wearing, so he's not being treated for that. And now at this point, roughly 10 years later, he has the three most common and most significant in my mind comorbidities, in other words, health issues associated with a possible sleep apnea issue. Failed CPAP, that's what he is termed. Given a machine, he's no longer wearing it. That's what we call the failed CPAP. I see numbers about as low as 50% and high as about 75%. I think it's closer to the high mark, are not wearing the machine, CPAP machine, after 1 year. So we have a significant issue that keeps coming up. There again, we've got patients that are diagnosed with CPAP that should be on a machine that are now walking around untreated and, in my mind, causing health problems. So concept one that keeps coming up all the time, failed CPAP. Comorbidities, that's what we call medical conditions that are coexisting with sleep apnea. In this case, he has high blood pressure, which he's taking medicine for, he has diabetes, which he's taking medicine for, and he has atrial fibrillation, which he's taking medicine for. So aside from the fact that these are the three most significant comorbidities associated with sleep apnea, he's taking medicine for this. And in this particular case, another concept that comes up is the fact that he's taking pharmaceutical medicine and he thinks he's well because of that. Now, I have to say that I have a dental license. I do not have a medical license, and I'm not practicing medicine. But many of you know that I teach health and wellness, nutrition, and our goal is ideally to be able to live a healthier lifestyle such that you may not need pharmaceuticals. The decision to take or not take pharmaceuticals is between you and your physician, but nonetheless, in our mind, from my wellness-based perspective, taking medicine still means you have a problem, even though the medicine, a significant medical problem underlying, but the warning light on the dashboard has been turned off by the medicine. And in this case, he thinks he's healthy, which further reinforces the idea that he does not need to take or wear his CPAP machine. In my opinion, that's absolutely reverse logic. Problem number 2. Problem number 3, snoring. He's an admitted snorer. In my mind, significant snorers always have an apnea component with them. How much? I don't know. That's to be determined by medical doctors and testing. But in my mind, snorers only snore because they have restricted air movement in the back of their airway. Why? Because the tissues in the back there, the tongue and tonsillar tissues and the pharyngeal tissues in the back are close together, and as the air moves through there, those tissues vibrate, hence we get the noise we call snoring. We refer to that as upper airway resistance syndrome. In other words, the air is not moving through there freely like it should be to get proper oxygenation. So concept number 3 is that people think they snore and it is not a problem. In my book, it is. Snoring, especially significant snores, in my opinion, always have an apnea or a restricted airway condition that should be treated. All right, lastly, 4th concept, CPAP versus oral appliance. What's the deal? Without going into a lot of detail on CPAP, which I did in my other videos, just understand that that's a machine that helps pump air through a hose and mask assembly down through your throat and into your lungs, actually helping you breathe or forcing open the tissues to get air movement in there when you are not getting any air movement from the apnea syndrome that's happening at night, particularly laying on your back. Consider that this is the gold standard for sleep apnea treatment. It is 100% effective. If used correctly and if used diligently, it will solve the problem about 100% of the time. It works. But as we said in the previous slide, only 50% are using the machine. So we have a bunch of people running around that are severe enough to require a CPAP machine that aren't wearing it at all. So it's 100% failure. So it's 100% successful if worn, but it's 100% failure if it's not worn. So that brings us to oral appliances. You've probably heard the dentist can take impressions and make appliances of several different kinds that would allow the jaw to be moved forward, hence bringing the tongue and some of the tissues forward, helping to open the airway at night. That's the purpose of the oral appliance. So is one more effective than the other? If an oral appliance is even 70% effective versus 100% effective of CPAP, even if it's only 70% effective and it's worn 90% of the time, then we've got some treatment and we are helping some people that ordinarily would be walking around without any treatment. My job is to find an appliance that suits the patient properly, that they wear it. I usually find that my compliance rate is about 90%. So I'm here to help get the patient going down the road, giving them the education, the information, screen them, test them if necessary, get them going in the direction of testing, to give them the information to help them make the decision as to what is best for them. Something that will actually work for them and help their overall health. In our sleep apnea practice, the ultimate goal is to help the overall health of our patients. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.